Hey y'all, this is Rachel from Ramblin Roads Farm. This video is to show those of you who are checking out a hatching kit, everything that comes in the kit, and a little bit more about each item so you'll have a better idea of what to expect and hopefully answer any questions you may have. Alright, so let's check out the kit. First of all, everything you're going to get is going to come in this tote. You are going to use this tote once your chicks hatch. We'll get to that in a second and show you a few little things to know about the container itself. So inside the container should be everything you will need to bait and then hatch your chicks. So of course you will get 7 fertilized chicken eggs from me. This box has your incubator. The cord and everything should be inside of it, as well as some instructions. We'll look at that more in a second. You will have your food and water containers. They come in 2 parts, really easy to assemble. Your baggie of food. All you'll have to do to fill up these feeders is you take your baggie of food, pour it into your mason jar, put the lid on upside down, flip it over, and it'll be ready for the chicks. Now you won't need to get your food or water ready until the end of your hatching cycle, before, a day or 2 before the chicks will hatch, but you'll have all of that in there. I have this on just to protect the light bulb while we take it here and there. This will be your heat lamp for your chicks. Again, this is for once the chicks hatch. And besides the incubator, here are really the other 3 things you'll need during the 21 days while you're waiting for your chicks to hatch out of their eggs. Alright, so those other 3 tools, this is your hygrometer. This is going to be really important. It's going to tell you the level of humidity as well as the temperature. You're going to want to place that in your incubator once you get all of your eggs set up. This is your candling flashlight. You will take this on days about 6 through maybe even 15, and you can use it. You'll have to go into a dark place, turn it on. You'll use it to check for development in any of your eggs. If any eggs are not developing, you do not want to keep those. You'll want to throw those eggs out because they're not going to turn into baby chicks. Once you've candled them, you can tell that. And then our very fancy egg turning block. So one of the biggest misconceptions in this style incubator, you don't actually physically turn these eggs at all. Okay, they're going to stay pointy side down, and you are going to take the incubator itself while it's plugged in, and you are going to prop it on this block, rotating different sides. You need to do this at least twice a day. You cannot overdo it. If you can do it 100 times a day, that's wonderful. But at least twice a day, 3 times a day would be even better. Perhaps before you leave for school or work in the morning, when you get home from school or work, and maybe once again before bed. Okay, so you'll just take that and rotate different sides. I have them labeled and color-coded to make it easier for any littles in your house. There's side A. Then at dinner we could go to side B. Right before bed, a couple hours later, we could even rotate it to side C, and so on. Just being gentle, but getting those eggs rotated on this block. One of the other things, so you'll have this propped in here while they're incubating, is making sure your eggs are pointy side down inside of your incubator. Okay, some eggs are harder to tell than others, which is the pointy side. So if you have any questions, you can send me a picture of them and I will gladly help you out. Be careful too that this little thermometer stays pointing up. We're getting an accurate temperature reading right above and right where the eggs are. Now, a few more specifics on the incubator itself. Inside, this lowest trough that's kind of in a horseshoe shape, is where the water needs to go. So this is your water reservoir. It's the lowest part in your trough. Do not place the water up here. Make sure when you open the incubator, you do so quickly, add some water quickly, just through this little trough to get your humidity levels correct. You might need to add more or less water depending on what your hygrometer says. Now inside your box that the incubator came in, there are other instructions that will be helpful to you. One thing I just wanted to make you aware of as well is that this little packaging styrofoam that the incubator was shipped in, I've heard from certain people who have had a hard time keeping their heat up that you might need to take this and you can use it to further insulate this lid if you're having a hard time maintaining that temperature. So just a tip or an idea in case you're having a hard time. But again, just make sure you are still checking the temperature and humidity levels. But this little insulating packing material might be helpful for you. All right, so now hopefully your chicks have hatched and you're ready to set them up in the brooder box itself. What I would recommend is that you just get some regular paper towels, probably a couple layers, and lay it down in the bottom of the brooder box. Just keep any mess and it'll make it easier to change it out every few days. You won't want it to stink. It'll be easier to change it out that way and clean it out without totally disrupting the baby chicks. And it'll keep everything a little bit nicer and cleaner. Then you'll want to put your food in your water jar. Remember, the water will be the same way. You'll fill it up, put the lid on upside down, and then quickly turn it in and it'll fill. So just keep an eye on the water level, making sure the chicks always have fresh food and water available to them. Get that in the brooder box. I would put the food in the water off to one side, and I'll show you why here in just a second. When your chicks come out of the incubator, you want them to dry in the incubator as much as possible. Do not take them out when they're freshly still wet, unless you have a rowdy chicken who is just going around and stomping on all the other eggs, potentially doing them any more harm. But try to let them dry in the incubator first. Baby chicks don't need food or water for the first 24 to 48 hours. So it'll be okay to leave them overnight and come back in the morning when they're dry and put them in the incubator, or same thing throughout the day. All right, so once we have our baby chicks in here, we have our food, we have our water, we're gonna snap this lid on. Now, you'll have to decide where a safe place in your home for this is going to be. You probably don't want your cats and your dogs to have access to it. The other thing I would just really caution you on too is that this heat lamp does get hot. If you have littles in your house whose wandering fingers are going to want to touch this, that would be very dangerous. Okay, so here I have the brooder box set up. Food and water are off in these corners, off to the side here. I have the heat lamp extended and positioned so that it will reach over, put it off to one side, but try to keep it still over where the heat will be over this wire. Baby chicks will naturally come and go. If they need more heat, they'll come to one side. So it's really good to be able to give them a space where they can take a break from the heat so that they don't end up cooking themselves or overheating. So I wouldn't put it directly in the center. If possible, try to angle it a little bit where it's off center, so if they do get too hot, they can move away from the heat. And if they need more direct heat, they'll be able to move right underneath it. Okay, so you have the heat lamp. And again, just really exercise caution. The bulbs do get hot. It is a heat lamp. It's designed to create heat for the babies. So just really be careful and mindful where you have that set up. Other than that, you'll pretty much be set. Of course, I do include the hatching calendar in the binder I provide for you, as well as other fun activities that you can choose to do, a little bit of resources and fun things you can read through with your child, and then other activities here. Your hatching calendar will be right here in the front pocket. One of the last things, and this is to help you when you are ready to pack everything up, and hopefully along the way to keep track of everything. This is an inventory list of everything that was included in here. This is to help me as well as you make sure I get everything back that I need, all of the supplies, so we can do it again. Now, when I come to pick up the chicks, remember you are welcome to keep them. If you have the room and facilities or wanted to start your own flock, this would be a great opportunity to do so. Otherwise, once your month is up, I will come pick them up in their box, and I'll bring a separate box or bag to collect all of the extra supplies that you have. But just really try to help and keep everything together that came from the inventory list, so there are no additional costs for me to replace any missing items. All right, I hope this gets you really excited about your next month's worth of adventures. If you have any questions, you'll have my information. You can contact me. I'll be glad to help out, answer any questions. The hatching calendar I have provided for you hopefully will do a really good job at keeping you guys informed and engaged all throughout the process, with checking for their development with your candling light, to just kind of counting down the days as you go through. But reach out if you have any questions. I would love to see pictures. If you want to send me any or post some, and tag us, Rambling Roads Farm, on Instagram or on Facebook. I would love to see how it's going and share in the excitement. So let me know if y'all have any other questions, and good luck.